All right, welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving into what is arguably the ultimate biological thought experiment, the actual physical fusion of human and animal DNA. We're going to explore a scenario that totally pushes the boundaries of biology, society, and honestly, our very identity. I am so excited to guide you through this because it challenges literally everything we think we know about how we live and who we are.
So, think about this for a second. What if every single human on Earth was born part animal? And just to be super clear right off the bat here, we're not talking about wearing fursuits or magically gaining comic book superpowers. No way. We're talking about the grounded, biological reality of real animal DNA being seamlessly fused with human genetics right from birth. It's a completely wild premise, but it would fundamentally alter the entire human condition. Okay, let's jump into Section 1, the hybrid fantasy, and take a look at some of these incredible new abilities.
Because, well, at first glance, the immediate benefits to our daily lives would be absolutely staggering. Just picture the everyday power of this for a second. Eagle hybrids wouldn't just have, 20/20 vision, they could literally spot things from kilometers away with absolute pinpoint precision. Or imagine the sheer convenience for cheetah hybrids. They could just effortlessly outrun city traffic during their morning commute. You'd have dolphin hybrids holding their breath for minutes on end, just exploring underwater without needing any scuba gear whatsoever. And owl hybrids, they'd have perfect night vision, which would honestly make artificial lighting practically obsolete for a huge chunk of the population. It sounds like a total utopia, right? A massive leap in human potential?
But of course, that brings us to Section 2, the biological drawbacks and the heavy price of all these gifts.
You see, biology is basically all about trade-offs. You really can't have extreme physical enhancements without paying a massive physiological price. Take a bird hybrid, for example. Sure, they gain this miraculous ability to glide, but they're stuck with incredibly fragile, hollow bones. A simple trip and fall on the sidewalk could be a catastrophic, life-threatening injury. Or consider the giant hybrids. Yeah, massive size brings unparalleled physical strength, but they'd face an exhausting daily struggle just to consume the thousands of calories needed to keep their massive bodies going. I mean, think about their grocery bills alone. And then, perhaps the most concerning part, introducing predator DNA into human brain chemistry. This could severely crank up aggressive instincts, making everyday social interactions and impulse control incredibly volatile.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, redesigning our world, and the massive infrastructure changes that would require.
Because when the physical makeup of a population completely fractures like that, the world they live in has to change with it. To accommodate everything from massive wingspans and long tails to functional aquatic gills and crazy differences in strength and size, well, the standardized world we know would be totally obsolete. Literally every single piece of our infrastructure would have to be drastically redesigned. Think about it. How do you fit a winged teenager into a standard high school desk? Or how does a hospital adapt its ER to treat a patient who actually needs to be submerged in water just to breathe? Even public transport, like buses and trains, couldn't just have one type of seat anymore. And private homes? They need varying ceiling heights, custom climate controls, specialized furniture, the whole shebang. Look around your own house or apartment right now. Could it comfortably fit a roommate with a 10-foot wingspan? Probably not. The logistical nightmare of trying to build a one-size-fits-all society would be, quite frankly, financially and architecturally impossible.
And that harsh reality brings us to Section 4, a divided species and the inevitable process of natural segregation. Eventually, the sheer logistical nightmare of trying to maintain a perfectly integrated society just becomes way too much. Over the first few decades of this initial DNA integration, sure, we might try to make it work altogether, but as we move into the centuries mark, we'd start seeing natural self-segregation. People are just naturally going to group together with their own kind, simply because it's so much easier to share infrastructure with people who have the exact same physical needs as you. Fast forward a few millennia, and we hit a point of extreme environmental colonization. This drives a wedge so deep through society that, over eons, it actually leads to complete speciation. Our evolutionary paths would just diverge entirely. Basically, our human map would completely fracture. The geographic distribution of intelligent life on Earth wouldn't even be recognizable anymore. Flying hybrids, probably tired of being cramped down on the ground, would construct massive, sprawling cities high up in the sky, specially designed for aerial commutes. Aquatic hybrids would likely abandon the land almost entirely to colonize the vast, untapped expanses of the oceans, building these breathtaking underwater metropolises. Meanwhile, forest hybrids would seek out the seclusion and natural camouflage of the dense wilderness, pretty much disappearing entirely from the view of everyone else. It's like we'd be living in completely different spheres of the same planet.
So, the real takeaway here, the absolutely crucial point, is that over a long enough timeline, humans would inevitably stop being one single unified species. Thanks to genetic drift, combined with entirely separate environments and separate mating pools, we wouldn't just look different on the outside, we would biologically become completely distinct entities. That shared human experience we all know, it would become a thing of the very distant past.
And honestly, that leaves us with an incredibly profound conclusion. In a world shaped like this, the biggest question we'd be left with wouldn't be the superficial stuff, like, hey, what animal are you? Instead, we'd be staring down the ultimate existential dilemma. Are we actually still human? I mean, if we don't share the same biology or the same habitats or even the same fundamental instincts anymore, what exactly is the thread that ties us all together? It is a fascinating and maybe even a slightly terrifying thought to leave you with today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep questioning the world around you.